Hello. Hi, guys. How are you? Welcome to Coffee and Content, or also could be called Content and Coffee. I forget what I actually named it. But I want to welcome you to the live stream for today. Just so you know, I may glance over here every now and then just to keep track of time and to take a look at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. But really, the intention for today is to really just start a conversation around content. And every day from Monday to Friday of this week, we're going to just start talking about content and how it can make a huge difference for your business and start learning and growing together. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nikki Nash. Hey, Diamond. How are you, love? Um, love her. So, today I am talking a little bit about content and I'll set the intention. But just so you guys know who I am, my name is Nikki Nash and I am a business coach for women who are starting their own consulting or coaching business, primarily online. And I really work with women on mindset and digital marketing strategy. And I have a lot of experience in creating content and doing content for my business and also for others when I worked in corporate. So that's a little bit about me. At the end of this live stream, I'll tell you a little bit more about me and some other opportunities for us to chat more together. But what I'll also do is I'd like to introduce to you, just so you're aware, Delaney McWalters is also a part of Nikki Nash & Co. And so you'll see her in this Facebook group answering questions, posting, things of that nature. So please also give her a super warm welcome. So these chats, again, will happen Monday to Friday every day at 9 a.m. unless otherwise stated. So if you could start sharing that with your friends and really just growing this community, because the idea is that we all continue to support each other and really make a difference for not just our own business, but for women who either have similar businesses or drastically different businesses that are primarily online. And my philosophy is that we rise and fall together. So if you help another woman, they help you back. We all are in the same boat, starting our own business and trying to grow together. So again, please continue to share and spend some time reading through any content I share or watching these videos, and I promise you it'll make a difference in your business. The other thing to note is that starting tomorrow, I'll also do a double video, and so I'll have my Periscope community on as well. So if you prefer Periscope, go by all means. You can watch it there, and that's not a problem at all. And then also, just so you know, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest, and all of that is under Nikki Nash & Co. And so I'm going to just let you ask any questions. I'll most likely answer them either at the end or in future live streams. So just so you're aware, at the end of this post, there'll be another post that will go out that'll just say, hey, if you have any questions or comments about content or things you'd like to learn, I will make sure to incorporate it in what we're learning. So if you just taking a quick look at my notes. The only other thing I will say is, as you're learning things on this actual stream, continue to just shout out things that you've learned or things you're getting out of it, so that folks that have missed it live, when they watch the live stream, they also have like a list of notes and things that you guys got out of the session. So that would be awesome. And so I am going to just ask a quick question to you guys. If you have ever, for your business, known that like you should probably create some content or put some content out there, but literally the thought of creating content makes you want to die, or like it stresses you out, like just put a hell's yeah or a yes or a comment or things like that, just so I can get a sense of where you guys are coming from. So don't hesitate to just be like, yes, this stresses me out. Awesome. So one of the things about me is that I was a journalism major and really loved creating content, and it didn't necessarily bother me when I was in it for journalism. But what I've noticed is that as I continued to work for my own business, it really, like, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It suddenly, I was blocked, and I'm like, I can't create content. Who's going to want to listen to me? What am I going to post out there? I'm not saying anything new. Like, this isn't mind-boggling. All those sort of thoughts came into my head. And one of the things that I really got in tune to, and what I really realized, is that when you're, yes, totally Diamond. One of the things I realized is that when I was getting stressed out about creating content, I started thinking, okay, well, what am I actually doing this for? What is actually the purpose? And all I'm doing when I create content is really adding value to my clients' lives. And that stress of like, will they like the content? Will they care? Will they want to listen to me? I started realizing that I'm not trying to reach every single person in the world. And that just made a huge difference for me in realizing that I don't need to be everything to everyone. Literally, I only want to work with but so many people. I have a version of a dream client, and that's who I want to be with. So really, what happens when you're thinking about content and creating content, you almost like are self-selecting, whether you know it or not, who's going to actually follow you and care. Because the more you, or when you're creating your content, you may have those thoughts of, oh, I'm stressed, I don't know what to post, things like that. But as you get really clear on who your dream client is, and as you start posting that content out there, you'll start attracting the people who should be consuming your content and who you actually want to work with. So the first thing that you should really know is that you are an expert in your field. And whether you feel that way or not, you may be like, me, expert, there are definitely people that know more in this industry than I do. That's honestly irrelevant. Like, what's really important is that you know more than your target audience on whatever it is you're talking about. And so you don't need to be like, have the PhD in content marketing, for example, to be able to share information about content marketing to your target audience. Or if you're really into food, you don't have to be, a French chef that's been studying for 25 years to educate your audience about food. You just have to have a passion for food and know more about food than who's ever following you. I was thinking about you there, Claudia. So there's absolutely, that ability to relinquish the stress that comes with creating content by just knowing that you're going to be producing content that is of value to your target audience because you're the expert in what you're creating, and you know more than your target audience does, and that's why they're following you. If they thought that they knew more about content or food or marketing than you did, then they wouldn't follow you. They'd go, oh, I know more than this person, why would I follow them? Or if they didn't vibe with the type of content you put out there or the way you wrote, then they wouldn't follow you. And honestly, like, would you want people who don't like you to follow you? That's almost like, hey, I want to have friends, but I'll just take anybody, and my life may be miserable because I have friends that don't actually like me and I don't like them, but at least I have friends. Like, that's probably not what you're going for. You really want to have people in your community that you care about and you enjoy speaking to and you enjoy working with. And the same thing goes with as you're growing your business through content. You're going to realize that as you're creating content, you're really getting people that value what you're saying and are of interest to what you're saying. So I'm going to just do a really quick recap for folks that recently joined. Again, my name is Nikki Nash, and I am a business coach and content strategist for women entrepreneurs starting their own business. And the intention of these daily chats is to really just share everything that I know and that I've discovered for growing my business and in working in corporate for the last 10 plus years around content marketing, because it's made a huge difference in attracting the right clients for my business and really just building that community that I really want for my business, and of those women who have their own online marketing or consulting or coaching or health business, whatever it may be, to really add value to their lives. So again, the first step and the first thing that you should really know is, yes, Diamond, I like to say content is queen because, girls are awesome who run the world. Anyway, but Diamond just wrote content is king in case folks didn't see that. But it makes just such a huge difference. And so the first thing that I mentioned was just really knowing that you're the expert in your industry and that you will add value to the lives of your target audience and you know more than them. So just really knowing that allows you to kind of take a breath and go, I've got this. Because a lot of times I find for folks that I work with and just speaking to others is that what prevents them from even getting started in content is being stressed out about what am I going to write? Is it going to be good enough? Are they going to like my tone of voice? And if you're really just you writing about what you know, you're going to self-select and attract that audience that is like, oh, okay, I like what she says. I get what she's talking about. She knows what she's talking about. Bam, I'm going to follow her. And if it's somebody who doesn't agree with those things, then they're not going to follow you and you don't want them in your community anyway. So that's part one. The other thing that I really want you guys to walk away with from today is that you have to get intimate with your target audience, and not intimate in that like, ooh, intimate sort of way, but really have an idea of who your target audience is and really get what it's like to be in their world and what life is like for them. And until you have a really clear idea about your dream audience and what it's like for them, you can't create content that'll add value to their lives. I mean, you may be able to, but it won't be able to come easily and really like have them feel like it resonates with them. So I can give you a quick example of kind of how my my business started and when I was all over the place. But when I very first quit my corporate job, I started consulting right away because that was just, I got this. I can consult. I can just work with other startups or big companies and give them a gist of what they should be doing from a digital marketing strategy perspective, from content, from social media, all those things. And what I realized is that as I was trying to create content for my business, I didn't know what to write because I was working with so many different types of businesses. I was working with small startups in the tech field. I was working with, educational institutions. I was working with big Fortune 500 companies, and it just was like all over the place. Things that were relevant to each of them would be drastically different. I was just kind of like putting out generic stuff, and I really didn't know what to do. And it was like, I kind of hated it, so I would stop. And so, one of the things that really made a huge difference was getting very clear on who my target audience is and what is going on in their world. And so when I ultimately stopped consulting because it's not really what I wanted to do, I was just doing it to make money, but I started business coaching. And when I started business coaching, I got very, very clear on who my target audience was. And I started writing down like, okay, I basically wanted to work with people who were like me that had gone through similar things that I had gone through and were leaving their corporate jobs to start their own business. And so I took myself and went back into that place of what was it like for me to kind of grow this business and take it to a different level. And as I started just jotting down like all the stresses I have, all the things that I wish I knew, all the things that I wanted to figure out, all the things that I did figure out, and start thinking about all the answers I had to those, I was able to go, oh my goodness, I know what it's like to really be my ideal client. And I even like gave them a name and was like, all right, every time I'm going to even think about creating anything for my business, I'm going to talk to that person and I'm going to write like, hey, I think that, or I know that when I was starting my business, what it must be like for you to be stressed and have your hands in so many different pots or wearing so many different hats. And I know that your number one goal is, for example, if they have an online coaching or consulting business, your number one goal is really to just get people on the phone and get people to want to talk to you and get people to actually sign up with you. And so if I know that your number one goal is to attract clients, then that's how I'm going to start creating my content marketing pieces. It's really going to be about how can you attract that dream client. And so that's kind of where I started. So if you guys can start getting a feel for who your dream client is and really what it's like to be them and what it's like to be in their world, it'll make a huge difference for you in terms of figuring out what type of content should you be creating. And down the line, you'll start figuring out not just what type of content or information would be valuable to them, but also what places should you be posting it, what format should it be in, all those different things. So maybe video works better, maybe a blog post works better, maybe a little just a tip on Instagram works better. So whatever it may be, just really getting a sense that for your target audience, I know what it's like to be in their world so that you're able to create that dream content for them. So I know today, and these chats are really going to be short, so I'm just going to take a couple more minutes of your time to do a quick recap and then share something that's available for anybody who's interested. So again, what I mentioned before, the number one thing to really get is that you are an expert in your industry and your field, and that you know more than your dream client, ideally. Like if you have an ideal client and you know less than them, that's a whole nother challenge. But just to do a quick recap, your number one goal or your number one thing that you should know is that you're an expert in your field and you know more than your target audience. So if you can just step into that mindset when you're starting to create content, it'll make a huge difference for you as you're trying to think about, okay, I've got this. And think about what you're going to actually create for your target audience. You can sit there and relax a little bit. And then the second thing that we discussed today is really about getting intimate with your target audience and really understanding who they are and what it's like to be in their world. And once you're able to be the person who's like, I'm an expert, I've got this, and then step into the world of your target audience and really get a feel for what they're stressed out about, what they're thinking about, what they're concerned about, you'll be able to create content that really makes a difference in their lives and really adds value. So before I start any content piece or really start thinking about my content strategy, my very, very first step is to really get a sense of who my target audience is and what they're going through. And I promise you that will make a huge difference. So for today, if I can give you like one homework assignment or one thing to do or think about, it would really be to start, get a notebook. Maybe it's even a coffee and content notebook that you create or buy or like start writing in, dedicated for, these chats, and really just start going, okay, my dream audience or my dream ideal client, whatever you want to call them, these are the things that are going on in their world, and start thinking about what are they stressed about, what are they excited about, what are they interested in, where are they seeking support as they do X. And the X is really whatever's tied to your business. So if they are just looking for inspiration, for example, around places to eat or meals to make, that may be the area that you're tapping into. If they're really stressed about starting their own business, that could be an area you're tapping into. If they're have a business and they're really looking about how they can connect with other brands or other businesses, that could be the angle you go at. But the first step is to really get a sense of who your target audience is and step into their world. And so, for homework or before tomorrow, if you could just take a moment, either throughout your day or set a dedicated time, and just start jotting down, like, if I were my target audience, this is what my life would be like. This is what I would be stressed about. This is what I would be excited about. This is what would be going on in my world or my mind. And just start writing those things down, and it'll make a huge difference for you. And then we'd love to hear what you've discovered or shared out of doing that exercise. And you can just come back to this post, or we'll have another post that'll go live to talk to you about, what your key takeaways were, but to really just start posting like, hey, here's what I discovered about my target audience or about myself in relating to my target audience, and see if anything new pops up there. So those are the big tips for today. We'll have more tomorrow. Again, as I mentioned before, if you have any questions or comments or thoughts around content, please post them in this Facebook group, and you can start getting a sense of what you can learn and discover for yourself and your business, so that I'm here completely to answer all your questions, as well as everybody else in the community is here to support you. And lastly, for folks, if you are interested, what I do and what I've mentioned is that I have, sorry, I'm just pulling up my notes on this, but to get the right link, but I offer what I call discovery calls, or what are called discovery calls. So if you are at all interested in just getting a sense of what type of support coaching could provide for you and your business, I do have a few slots available this week and some available next week to just get on the phone for about 20 minutes and just get a sense of what your world is like and what your business is like and where you are now and where you'd like to be, and just see if there's a way that coaching could support you on that journey. So if you'd like to schedule a discovery call, go to bit.ly/Nash, and as in Nancy, and then Nash has to be the first letter has to be capital. So capital NASH, and then capital D for discovery. So discovery with a capital D. So to say it again, it's bit.ly /Nash discovery with a capital N and a capital D. And I will also post it here, but if anybody's in the chat and can type that out really quickly so people can see it, that would be amazing. And yeah, that's what I have going for today. I thank you so much for your time. It was awesome. We're going to do this again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. Eastern. And if you can't make it tomorrow, don't worry, the replay will be live and available for you. So this has been awesome. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.